Hi again, this is Cami. Welcome to another day in our 12 Days of Holiday Grief Support series. Let's talk about how to manage triggers, how to manage that tidal wave of grief, that emotional overwhelm that can come up for us in our grief. And especially with the holidays, there are reminders of our person's absence everywhere. And just remembering that they're not going to be here to celebrate this holiday with us can be overwhelming enough. Plus, we have all of the responsibilities and tasks and things that we need to do this time of year. So, the stress of the holidays and the grief might put us over the edge. So, when we are in those moments of emotional overwhelm, how do we navigate all of that? So, let's dive deep into this. Hopefully, you watched the last video that we did on the self-care rituals. Those are more foundational things that you can do for yourself every day to take care of yourself in your grief. So I hope that you have committed to those and are taking some action to support yourself on the daily. This video is a little bit deeper as far as, okay, when we are in that grief spiral, that overwhelming moment when you don't know what to do, we have a game plan. So let's talk a little bit about this. So this tool that I'd like to introduce to you is called the Faith Toolbox, and this is something that we do in our Confident Grief Coach School, something that I work with my clients on. And really, the idea is that we are going to put together a list of go-to things that you can turn to when you are in that overwhelm. So, FAITH is an acronym. This is non religious. FAITH stands for Finding Awesome Inspiration to Heal. And I like this reframe of faith because it's really just finding that thing that can help you to feel more grounded, more centered, to come back to yourself when you are in the midst of your grief overwhelm or when you're in this trigger and when you just need some support for yourself. And I just want to preface with this idea of healing because I know that when we're in grief, it can feel like things might not ever get better. And I just want you to know that it's okay that you feel that way right now. And you have so much power within yourself to heal. And coming from my background as a body worker and a yoga teacher, healing really comes from within. So these tools that we can put on this faith toolbox really are resources that we have within us all the time because our body, especially our body, in every cell of our DNA has the blueprint to heal. Within you, you carry an amazing capacity to heal and to thrive. And part of that is on a biological level of your body operating in a state of emotional regulation. So basically that's a fancy term for your nervous system operating properly. Your body is functioning the way that it should. You feel clear-headed, you feel like you have a capacity for showing up for life. And we know that when we are in these grief triggers, that capacity goes out the window. Our body goes into that survival mode, that fight, flight, freeze response. And we feel overwhelmed by that. That literally shuts down our nervous system, and our body puts us into that state of survival where we might act out or we might shut down. And in those moments, navigating our grief can feel impossible. But I just want to remind you that within you, right now and always, you have the capacity to heal. You have the capacity to navigate that space and to come back to a state of regulation, to come back to a space of healing where your body knows how to operate and function and thrive and feel good again. And it is okay if that feels unreachable right now. That is a part of the process. But I want you to know that you will not be stuck there forever. And there are so many tools to help you shift out of that space and back into a place of calm, relaxed, centered, grounded presence that you have the capacity for in each and every moment. So as you are thinking about this faith toolbox, these are just, a list of go-to things that you can do that are going to help support you in those moments. And as we're talking about grief triggers and going into that survival mode, I encourage you to think about this faith toolbox as ways that you might be able to shift out of that state of fight or flight or freeze, those overwhelming emotions that come up that just feel like too much to handle when we're in that trigger. What can you do in that moment that can help you feel a little bit less overwhelmed? What is something that you know works for you that can help you to be more grounded? that can help you to find your center again. I know for me, some things that are on my faith toolbox are breathing. When I'm overwhelmed and I'm in that grief space and I feel shut down, the only thing that I need to do is breathe. For me, that is my go-to strategy. If I can just feel my feet on the ground and breathe for a moment, close my eyes and just tune into what's happening internally. For me, that is my number one go-to thing is breathing. Take 3 deep cleansing breaths. For me, that helps me to feel more grounded, more centered, and physiologically, we know that a big, deep breath with a long exhale out the mouth helps the body to discharge stress. It helps the body to release that pent up energy that is coursing through the body with stress hormones and all of that physiological reaction of grief. That's helping the body to release that. That's helping your whole system to come back to a state of regulation, to come back to a state of a little bit more calm and centeredness. So, breathing might be on your faith toolbox. Another resource that I like to turn to is nature. For me, when I am just in the thick of my grief and there's nothing else for me to do, I can't function, I can't do anything else, I go outside and I go for a walk. I go for a gentle walk and I just put myself in the trees. I go into the forest and I look up at the trees. I might even lay on the ground. That's one of my favorite things to do is just to stop and pause, to lay on the ground, to look up at the trees, to just place myself in the grass or the leaves or wherever feels safe and cozy for me. I tuck myself in there in nature and I just exist there for a while, for as long as I need. That is another thing that's on my faith toolbox is go get in nature. Maybe for you, you might go for a walk, or maybe you have someone close that you're around a lot that could give you a big, tight hug and a squeeze and just someone to cry with if that's what you feel like you need as a part of your release. So, a little activity for you to do right now is list out 5 things that you can put on your own personal faith toolbox. What are things that you can turn to when you're in that state of overwhelm, when you don't know what else to do? What can you do to support yourself? And list it out so that when you're in that space, you know exactly what you can do. Maybe it's on a little piece of paper or on a note on your phone that you carry with you that says, okay, just going to stop and take a moment and breathe, or I'm just going to stop and allow myself to cry, or I'm going to go for a walk. Whatever your tools are that you know can help you to feel just a little bit more safe, calm, grounded, centered, put them on a list. And when you're in that moment, you can turn to your list and pick something on it and just do it. So I hope that's helpful for you. I hope that you can create a little toolbox that feels supportive, that feels like, okay, I have an action plan. When the stress of the holidays come up for me, maybe, you're at the holiday event and you feel that sense of overwhelm coming on, you know what you can do to support yourself. So you might make your list and adjust it a little bit to the holidays to make sure that you know where you'll be if you're going to be at an event or if you're going to be at home or you're traveling somewhere that you know what resources are available to you. And remember that the resources that we really do need at the end of the day are with us all of the time, right? The breath, feeling our feet on the ground, the support from the earth, these really basic resources that make a world of a difference when it comes to regulating that survival mode that comes up with a grief trigger. So, if you need more support with this, I am always here to help you navigate that space. That's a specialty of mine with my embodied grief support work is helping people navigate that emotional dysregulation that happens when we're in that survival mode, that fight, flight, freeze response. So if you're looking for more information or support on navigating those panic attacks or those deep spirals into grief, there are so many resources out there for you. And I just want you to know that you are supported and you have so much within you right now that you can turn to within your faith toolbox. Also, if you are interested in supporting other people on their grief journey and you like these tools that we've been offering and you want to learn how to use them with people in your life or with clients, I encourage you to check out our Confident Grief Coach certification program, which is starting up again in January. So we would love to have you there if that feels like it would be a good fit for you. So go ahead and check the show notes below for information on our Confident Grief Coach certification program and for contact information on how to reach out for me if you feel like you need support from a grief coach. All the best to you. I would love to hear in the comments what your faith toolbox resources are. What is on your list of 5 things that you can do for yourself to support yourself when navigating grief triggers over the holidays? All the best to you, and we'll see you in the next video.